everyone. I'm here in local Spicery with Nick, and we're just going to take a little look around the room. So when you come to local Spicery, you will know what it's going to be like, and you'll know how the room flows. So we're going to start over here where you have the spices by region.
So we had to come up with some sort of an organizational philosophy, even though my basic philosophy is that there should be none as it relates to spices. I mean, there are no rules. The second there are rules, this isn't fun, and it should be fun. But to be able to find things and to describe the flavors and how they work, on this table over here we have spice blends that are broken down by geography. And there are very, very distinct influences and philosophies behind the cooking, so it works that way. We have the African and the Mediterranean, the Asia, India, the Americas. This pool right here are all base spices, they're not blends. Signatures are signature blends that we created. Many of these actually were collaborations or even commissioned blends for chefs in Europe. One thing I wanted to just point out, we get asked a lot about curry. Do you have any curry? And curry is something that is common in many, many cultures and in many geographies. For example, we all have had Thai curry, we've had Indian curry. But it's an example, in Africa, we have two curries that are from Morocco, the Raza Hanout and the Lakama. And, they're very, very much, spice-driven things. The Bokop is a very interesting curry. It's African. It's from South Africa, actually. And there is no organic tradition in South Africa for curry, but all the ships that were coming from India to go to Europe were stopping in Africa, so in South Africa. So they had a strong taste of the curry. But the Bokop curry, to me, it's a great cross between a pure Southern Indian curry and a Caribbean yellow curry. Very, very easy to use, but it's delicious. In fact, one of the interesting things on the Bokop curry, low heat, actually gets most of its heat from black mustard seeds. So it's not a chili kind of a heat, but more like a horseradish kind of a heat. And then Asia, India, we have the Madras and the Vadavan, and these two, you've got to smell these. They couldn't be farther apart. Although they're both southern India, the Madras is very savory, is driven by the flavor of cumin, and then Vadavan is intensely sweet and incredibly aromatic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys. That smells amazing. I just want you to cook for me. Seriously. I just want him to cook for me.
They're both Indian curries. The Vadavan comes from the Pondicherry region, which was a French colony. So it has a strong French influence. It's sometimes called the French curry. Asia, India, we get other flavors. We have the shichimi, which is Japanese. It's usually served on noodles, and it has some very strong bitter flavors.
Oh, it
has
does.
some seaweeds.
You can
and
smell.
Yeah.
Smell that.
This one, the Jin Yang is a Cantonese blend. It's not a traditional blend. It's one that we came up with, that Cantonese in inception, but we named it Jin Yang, which was the name of the original owner of this building. So there's our history.
I love that they've tied that in to it.
America's, we think of American cooking as something that's also similar, but regionally the huge differences. We have some Cajun blends, we have adobo and sazon from Puerto Rico and the islands. It's just a lot to go there. And then the signature blends. My advice on these blends really is come in, smell them, see what it is you like, and then let's talk about how you can use them and what they go with. Because just because it says it's a curry, there's no rule that says you have to use it only that way.
Right. And then the European.
Yeah, European, we have a couple of interesting ones. For example, our chimichurri, which is a blend that we learned when we were in the Basque region, meeting farmers to select a farmer for our piment d'Espelette.
Wonderful.
Chimichurri is one of those words like curry. Curry is a blend. The word masala means a blend. Chimichurri is a Basque word, which just means a blend. So there are a lot of different blends that are called chimichurri, but this one is, to my knowledge, the only herb blend in French cooking that is intended to be dried herbs, not fresh herbs.
Oh, really?
And it has just tiny bits of piment d'Espelette, which gives you just a slight warming sensation, Wonderful, wonderful spice. Vegetables, it goes great on sweet chilies.
So you guys, you just have to experiment and try something new. And if you're going to order from local Spicery, on the checkout page in the comments, if you put Nutmeg Notebook Tami, then he will send you 2 free little samples. And if you want to try one of these that you've heard us talk about, then Nick will do his best to do that. Now, you also have teas here.
Yep.
So we've been talking a lot about the spices, but remember that they also have some wonderful teas for you as well. So Nick, can you point out a couple of them for us here?
Yeah, so the way we have these organized, everything that's over on this side are what we call tisanes, and these are teas. And what's the difference? It's the presence or absence of an actual tea leaf, which also translates into the presence or the absence of caffeine. These all will have caffeine. They have actual tea leaves in them, and these are all blends of herbs and other products, but no actual tea and no caffeine. When I was a younger man, we called them herbal teas.
Right.
But people that live for tea, like my daughter, they just thought it was inappropriate to call these teas, so they drew from an ancient word, Old Greek word, tisane, which would have been used to describe a blend used as an infusion primarily for health benefits. But some that I'd like to point out, this is easily our best seller. And before I tell you what it does, I'll let you smell it. I think you'll like it because it's very sweet. We have whole cardamom seed in here, lemongrass, and actually if you can focus in on that, you see the little blue flowers that are in there? That's the butterfly pea flower.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, what they do, they're acid sensitive.
Okay.
So when you make a cup of tea, we call this Wonderland. The tea brews as a cobalt blue color. And it's got that wonderful citrusy flavor. But if you add lemon or lime to it, the blue turns to pink. So it's a color change tea.
Oh my gosh.
It's very fun.
That would be awesome to serve to kids.
Yeah.
If you're doing like a tea party for little girls.
And then you'll notice in the names of these blends, my daughter, who went to Sarah Lawrence, came back to prove the value of a liberal arts education, names all of her teas after people and places in literature.
I love it.
So we have the Hester Prynne, the Scarlet Letter, which is it's very, very strong hibiscus, dark red. It's a great iced tea as well as regular tea. The Marrakesh we talked about. So those are the ones I'm going to highlight here.
Wonderful.
On the black tea blends, we have one that is called La Mancha Dulcinea, named from Don Quixote. And this is our romance tea. It's got a blend of strong black teas, but it also has rose petals and cacao nibs. So it's chocolate and roses.
Gosh.
And some Saigon cinnamon. It's a very, very rich, complex tea. For people who are trying to change from coffee to tea, I find, and I'm a committed coffee drinker, I find that the La Mancha and the Manor House, both because of the strong cinnamon flavor, it gives me the richness that I'm looking for in a beverage that is similar to coffee.
All right. Shall we go in the back and have you show us
show you what we do.
what happens back there?
Yeah. So these doors here, by the way, they're the original doors to the building from the Kim Wing building, at least 100 years old. In our construction, we tried to save as much historically as we could, but this is the grand unveiling. This is the entrance to Willy Wonka Land.
I'm so
This
excited.
is where it all happens. Come on back.
And I love that you put these on a sliding track as well.
So fundamental to our process are these 2 rooms. I'll show you this one and then the next one. But these rooms are where all of the processing occurs. These are the only rooms in the building where product is open to the air. And it's allowed in these buildings because we installed independent ventilation systems for each room. So when we're in there, we turn the fan on like that, and it creates negative air, so there can be no cross-contamination. Completely clean. The walls and the floor are hard materials. They can be scrubbed top to bottom, sanitized on a regular basis. And this room is where I do most of the milling. We have 2 of our mills in here. We have 2 other milling technologies that we use, but the big silver one was the one that was made for us in New York. The other one, the pinkish one, is actually from Germany. It's made by Malkonig. They're famous as probably the premier manufacturers of coffee grinders. And that is, in fact, a modified coffee grinder modified to work better on spices. Interesting, you can see I don't know if you can see the hose that comes out of the wall.
Yeah, I see it.
That's part of the process to kind of keep the dust down. We actually hook the ventilation system directly up to the mill to siphon the dust off before the dust gets too much in there. It can become a high dust environment and very difficult.
So when you're doing the milling process, are you both in there working at the same time?
No, usually, yeah, usually one person in the room at a time.
Okay.
And the rooms are set up to be, very, very flexible. Either room can do either thing. Everything's on wheels. You can move everything out to clean it down. You can put, 2, 3 tables in there. You could have multiple people in there. Like when we get a large quantity of chilies come in, we can have 3 or 4 people set up with giant piles of chilies because we like to de-stem and de-seed the chilies ourselves before we mill them. And then this room here is primarily set up for packaging. This is where we fill the bottles and the pouches.
So do you and Evelyn have certain tasks that you specialize in doing, or do you both do everything?
We both do everything, and we specialize in things.
Okay.
I do most of the milling. Evelyn does most of the packaging. Evelyn really is the aesthetic genius. So all of our packaging she came up with. The labels and the jars and everything.
Which are adorable.
Yeah, as well as the look in the front. She's very, very talented.
She is. I love it. And so then further back here.
Further back in here, we have a station with our label printer. We make all of our own labels. We have over 500 SKUs. So ordering labels from somebody else would just be a ridiculous endeavor.
Yeah, and then you'd have wait time for
Yeah.
that as well. Oh, here's your jars.
Yeah.
Look here, you guys. There's
So,
those adorable
yeah.
jars.
So these jars, we import them from Italy. It's an 8 to 12 month process. After we order them, they manufacture them, and then they have to wait until they can fill a container to get them on a ship and ship them to us.
Wow. So how did you find those all the way in Italy?
We actually, there's a great show in San Francisco every year. It's called the Fancy Food Show. Have you been?
Oh, okay. No, I haven't been, but I've heard of it.
You need to go. It is, the 2 biggest food shows in the country, maybe in the world. They do one in the summer in New York and one in the winter in San Francisco.
Okay.
At the Fancy Food Show, we met the company that makes these, and we just fell in love.
Fantastic. Now look at this, you guys. Have you ever seen so many spices and herbs in one place? This is amazing.
So, typical for a spice company, you would see the spices actually being stored in large burlap bags or in what are called fiber drums, which allow them to breathe. In our case, as soon as they get in here and they clear our quality control process, we seal them in a plastic bag, and then we put them in the plastic bucket to protect them. They get some oxygen protection that way, protects them from any light and from some heat. And it's a new facility, and we keep everything pristine. But were there pests, it would protect from pests as well.
And it's temperature controlled in
Yeah,
here
climate
as well.
controlled, absolutely.
Climate control.
And then this is Tom's favorite over here. This is we call this our 19th century solution to a 21st century problem. We had to get product upstairs where we package it for shipping on the internet. So we installed. I'm going to get in there and operate it for you. We installed a manually operated dumbwaiter. And one of the interesting things is for us is, from what we could tell, there's only one company that still makes the manually operated dumbwaiter, and they're right here in Northern California in Rohnert Park. So upstairs is where we do our internet fulfillment, and we have a small kitchen where we give cooking classes.
Okay, let's go take a look, you guys.
So this large room is where we, on a daily basis, handle our internet fulfillment. You can see we have these kitchen work tables lined up. These are all orders that we'll be filling today.
And I love the brick wall.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat? It's so cute. So let's go take a peek at the kitchen, you guys.
So we hope to get Tami here soon to give a cooking class or a demonstration. But
Sure. I'd love to come up and
there
do
we go.
that. That'd
You
be
heard it
fun.
here first. So this space, this is actually the same space where the original kitchen was, going back over 100 years. That's exactly where the kitchen sink was, and that's the window that the Chinese mother would look out when she's fretting over her children and cooking her food.
Aww.
But we roll one of those tables up here, so
Yeah.
and soon we'll have it set up with a camera coming down to show the inside the pot.
Oh, nice. And so, like, how many people can you accommodate for a cooking class?
So 12 is comfortable. Larger groups, we move out of the kitchen and just do it all out there. The first one we did 16, and it was a little bit tight.
Little crowded.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. So see, you guys, there's so many things that you can do when you come up here. Do you post your cooking classes on your website?
On the website, yeah.
Okay, so check that out. And maybe you want to come up and shop and take a cooking class as well.
A lot of history in Marysville. It's one of the most historic cities in the state. It's a great place to tool around.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching today. Thank you, Nick, for giving us such a grand tour. It's been so much fun, and seriously, I really want you to cook for me one of these days. That would be
That's
awesome.
gonna happen, don't worry.
Okay, that'll be awesome. He might have to come to my house too. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching today. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss any future videos. Hop on over to the blog too at nutmegnotebook.com. Subscribe there and you'll get 2 exclusive recipes that are just for subscribers. So we really appreciate you watching today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.